Hey guys, it's Brandon here again at Vape Extreme. Bringing you a bit of a hardware review today. This one here came from electrovapors.com. They are a Canadian vendor, guys, and they have some very interesting products. Um, I was sent actually a couple things, and I wasn't really sure how I wanted to do the review at first. So I figure I will do this. Might be kind of a lengthy video, unfortunately. I generally try to keep them as short as I can without babbling on too much, which I also have a tendency of doing, but I'd rather get all the facts out as best that I can and best to my knowledge. So, egos. Everybody has probably used an ego at one particular point in time or another. The new vapors are probably using your standard e-cigs, which are still very popular. I still have one that I use to this day. But egos are kind of your next step up because you're getting into bigger batteries. And you can generally get into some other devices that you can use as well. Now, one of the biggest downfalls that I've found with egos in their kits is the actual tank system that they use. A lot of people would probably agree with me that the original ego teas were just atrocious. They did not work worth a crap. They didn't vape very well. The flavor wasn't very decent, and they were just all around junk. They didn't wick worth a crap. The vapor production was generally hit or miss, and throat hit, flavor, meh. So yeah, the tank systems were a nice idea because you could actually, fill a tank and go out vaping without having to drip or refill a cartomizer. So they were neat in that aspect. Unfortunately, the functionality was very lousy. So the evolution, or I don't know, not evolution, but basically the upgrades that they've done with the Ego T's were the next step, was up to the Ego C's. Now the batteries hadn't changed. Sorry about the autofocus, guys. Maybe I'll shut that off. Let's turn the autofocus off. So the Ego C's were basically, some people say were the Ego Complicated, or what the C stood for. I wouldn't really say it's any more complicated than anything else. Basically, it was a 3-part atomizer system. That the nice part is that the heads were replaceable, making it a little bit less expensive to replace in the long runs. Sometimes I guess they could be a pain to put back together. But all in all, a little bit of an improvement. Nothing earth-shattering. The flavor got a little bit better, but still with dripping, you were always better off at that point. Cartomizers were still better at that point. So, yeah, they were okay. They weren't the greatest. Now, electrovapors.com actually has their own line of Ego products. They actually labeled it as the Torch. This here is a 650 milliamp hour Torch battery that was sent to me from Kat at Electrovapes. And they also have their own tank atomizers, right? Now, let's talk about the battery first. Your standard Ego batteries, here's a standard 650 milliamp hour. This isn't Joyetech, it's just a standard Chinese manufactured Ego battery. This one here is a 650 milliamp hour Torch battery. Now they're a little bit bigger, but if you compare it without the glow-in-the-dark ring, they're pretty much, or not the glow-in-the-dark, sorry, the LED ring, they're pretty much the same size. But this actually has a much nicer feature. One of the downfalls with Egos is there's no battery indication. You know when it's firing, right? But you don't know when it's dying. So you know, unless you can remember what battery you were vaping on, if you're a newer vapor and you've only got 2 batteries, you know, unless you know which one you're using, it's kind of hit or miss, right? So Electrovapor came out with a neat idea. What they've actually done is in the bottom ring, there we go, there's a LED in behind there, right? Now, right now mine is green because I have been vaping on it. When it's fully charged, it's actually blue, and it's actually a nice, brilliant blue, which means it's 100% to 75% charged. Now, when it gets to green, it's 75% to 50% charged. Then it'll go down to yellow, which means it's 50% to 25% charged, and then it'll drop down to red, which means it's under 25%, and should probably be charged within the hour. Great idea. Another neat feature, hence the torch. I'm just going to put this together here. 5-click protection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's off. You see the little flash at the bottom? It's actually got a built-in flashlight. Novelty? Yes and no. I've had this for a couple days now. I've used the flashlight probably 3 or 4 times now. So it's actually come in very handy. For the main reason that you normally always carry your PV with you, so technically speaking, you're always going to have a flashlight, right? So, with that being said, battery, now the fit and finishes that you can get are basically a black, kind of like a glossy silver, and the burgundy are the colors that they're offering, I believe. Let me just double check. Yes, so there's black, silver, burgundy is in the tank only, which I'm assuming means you can only get the tanks. I'll get into that in a minute because there's actually quite a few options with their actual kits. I wasn't actually sent a kit. She sent me basically their version of the tank, which is actually specifically designed by Electrovapors. She sent me 2 of the actual, or sorry, she sent me 2 of the tank atomizers, one of the tank atomizers, 2 of the actual tanks, and 1 of the batteries. So I'm just kind of going off what I'm dealing with here. Excuse me. I don't know why I always sneeze when I do a video lately. But anyway, so a couple nice features on it. The flashlight, the battery indication. Other than that, it's a standard 3.7 volt battery, which, nothing earth-shattering. But I do like the battery indication, and I do like the flashlight. So that's kind of a thumbs up. Actually, it's a huge thumbs up. Rather than a basic battery with just a lighty up button. Whoa, big deal. But the key feature that I love about the torch kits that Electrovape sells, this thing. This is an Ego tank atomizer that works, and works well. I'm just going to show you how well it vapes. The standard Ego tanks, they sucked, right? These, got to turn it on first. 5 clicks turns on the flashlight. 5 clicks after that turns the atomizer portion back on. Wow, clouds of vapor, first drag. Second drag, clouds of vapor, throat hit, flavor, all of it's there. I was skeptical. I'll be perfectly honest with you. When I first got the actual tank system, I'm like, oh, great. it's going to be another tank system. I know exactly where this is going to go. I've got a box that I have in my, and by the way, I'm in my garage. I'm not in a grow up, just for some people that have commented on a couple of my videos. It's just convenient because it's quiet. I have a little shelving system. Actually, I'll show it to you. This is my little shelving system that I have of juices that I vape on a regular basis, juices that have sent to me for review. This is a box of stuff I never ever use. And then of course more juices, and more juices that have been sent to me for review purposes. Parts, junk, parts. So just so you guys know, I do actually have an area where I do not, let me straighten that up a little bit there. There's just stuff that I do not use, whether it was sent to me for review, stuff that was thrown in, whatever the deal was. Doesn't matter. That's where it stays. That's where it stays. This, I filled it. This is just to give you an idea. This was actually a menthol juice that was, menthol tobacco that was actually clear. Just to give you an idea on how long it's been sitting inside that tank. So, this is a very, very big changer for me. Sorry for the vaping, but I'm just showing you something. That was 4 heavy drags. 4 very heavy drags. Not one of them was dry. Not one of them diminished in vapor. Not one of them diminished in flavor. Not one of them diminished in throat hit. Every single one of them was just like the first one, as if I had it sitting there for 20 minutes. Unlike the Ego T's, or even the Ego C's, you'll get maybe 1 or 2 good drags, and then it would be a dry hit, right? And normally with the Ego T's or the Ego C's, your first vape, like, you know, if it's been sitting for a little while, your first vape is generally flooded, in most cases. Not saying all the time, just most cases. These are awesome. I'm just going to take it off here. I got a mosquito flying around my face. The actual tank systems are, again, they're completely designed from scratch from electrovapors.com. I'm just going to grab my junky thing here out again. These are the tanks, right? Standard tanks. They got the little silicone cap on the bottom. And then of course you got your air chambers up the side. Now, one thing that I've also found with the regular tanks is you'll normally get a lot of condensation buildup on the sides, and at the top you'll always get e-juice buildup, almost all the time, right? Cleaning them, you basically have to pop the cap out, pop the spacer out, and then try and flush it out with water or whatever you want to use. And then of course, cleaning out the juice well, you just pop the cap off, wash it out, whatever the deal is. Again, not a great design, because you have a juice collector at the top, which is the worst spot to have it because of the fact that when you're vaping it, you're sucking e-juice into your mouth a good portion of the time. Electrovapor, again, ingenious design. You pull the tank off, they look pretty much similar, right? The only difference is this is white, this is dark. You still got a silicone cap at the top, making it easy for filling. But here's the thing. Here is the advantage of the tanks that Electrovapes has designed for their system, or uses for their system. It's actually a 2-part tank. This is your actual tank. I'm gonna try and see if I can focus in on that just a little bit more. You'll have to excuse the horrible lighting in my garage, but it's all fluorescent. But there's the actual tank that holds the juice. This is your passage. Now, not sure if you'll be able to see it or not. if I can get this held at the right angle, but you can actually see the two notches on each side that are cut out. That's for your airflow. So if you want to wash this out, you can. Very simplistic. Put it in water, wash it out, put it back on. Done. Now, the only concern that I had when I first saw these is the fact that the mouthpiece comes off. That was kind of the only concern I had, because when I pulled it off the first time, I'm like, oh great, this is not probably going to work very well. You're probably going to end up losing this. But it actually has, which you're not going to be able to see because I have really crappy lighting in my garage. There's a lip there. Right. There it is. There's a lip. Right here. As you can see, the screwdriver stopping. There's a lip right there. So it actually snaps into place. You'll probably be able to hear that. Right? So it snaps into place. So it actually holds together very well. But what can you do to redesign a tank atomizer? Okay, tank atomizer, Ego C, yeah, a little bit of a change. The biggest difference that I've noticed so far, besides the fact that it actually works, is the spike. I'm going to try and see if I can get this to focus in on it. I'll take the autofocus off here. Now you should be able to see inside. Let's get a little closer if I can. You'll see almost like a three-leaf clover design in the actual spike, right? That is where the difference is. It basically actually allows the juice to wick down to the atomizer, which is a fantastic idea because it works. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sold. I actually enjoy using an Ego tank system now. Autofocus off. Thank you. So yeah, it performs really well. As you can see. It works really well. It really does. Now, one thing, because of the fact that the battery works well, that's fine. I like the form and function of it. I like the extra options of it. I like the features on it. Now, the one thing that I was really curious about is how well will it perform on a higher voltage device. Now, this really isn't par and parcel or how the unit performs in a matter of opinion for someone who's actually buying the kit, but because I'm a little bit more experienced in vaping, I wanted to take it to the next step. So I took their tank atomizer and threw it on my Provari. Basically I just used a 510 to Ego adapter to make it work, and I want to just show you the atomizer resistance, if you'll be able to see that. And it's coming out at 2.3 ohms, okay? So at 2.3 ohms, you should generally be around 4.2 to 4.3 volts, as I keep skipping through the menu in my Provari. I'm using mine right now at, whoops. I was actually vaping this at, fuck, that screen's bright. It's part of my language. At 4.4 volts. And, wow. All I can say. Guys, if you're looking for a tank style device, in the Ego that actually works and works well on anything, right here. This is what you're looking for. At 4.4 volts, the thing hits like a mule. Flavor, throat hit, vapor, all there, right to a T. So yeah, guys, honestly, if you're looking for the Ego Torch kits, they are available at electrovapors.com. I'm really sorry this video is running long. I didn't want it to run this long. But just to give you a quick idea, they are available in 3 different colors, which I've already mentioned: black, silver, and high gloss burgundy, which is the one that I have here. By the way, sexy, hot color. Looks very nice. My camera does not even do this justice. Now, the other options that you also have is you can choose between the Tankomizer, which is what you see here, or the bridge styled atomizers as well. The bridge style atomizer comes with a different style cartridge, which I can't show you because I didn't get one. And I can't even show you the bridge style atomizer because I didn't have one, but you have the option, which is nice. Now the only thing is that the burgundy one only comes in the Tankomizer style, which again, that's no big deal. What you get in the kit at this point is 2 650 milliamp hour batteries, the atomizers, which range anywhere from 1.8 to 2 ohms. This one came out at 2.3, not a big deal, it's only 0.3 of an ohms difference. You also get 5 of the cartridges, whether it's tanks or the cartridges. I didn't, like I said, I haven't seen them. You also get a leather carrying case, a faux leathering zip-up carrying case, a USB charger with the AC adapter, and an instruction manual. These kits are on their site right now for $69.99. And I don't think the price has changed between the atomizers. No, the prices are still the same between the atomizers. Now, one other key thing, guys, again, I'm sorry this is running long, but one more key thing. If you are new to vaping, okay, and I get asked this hundreds of thousands of times, where can you get instruction manuals on how these things work? Well, here's what I tell people. If you're ordering a kit from China, or if you buy from a supplier that gets kits manufactured in China, if they're just like pre-built kits, kind of like I got this one here, it's just an Ego C kit that I've got. I've had it sent to me for a review. The instruction manuals are very hard to understand for a couple reasons. A, they're being converted from Chinese to English from a guy that can't speak English. So that's kind of one issue. Number 2, they're not really, the instruction manuals aren't really geared to the point of like you've never used an e-cig before. It's kind of you kind of sort of already know certain things. This isn't a fancy fold out. This is basically just a regular sheet of paper that I'm assuming Electrovapes has actually made up themselves, but it gives you all of the key details of the kit that you have purchased, all of the charging instructions for the kit that you have just purchased. They also give you how to care for that product, and of course your warranty at the bottom. These aren't just a generic piece of paper that they stick in a box. This actually says right on it, Electrovapes Torch User Manual. This is actually designed specifically for the Torch. Like I said, I didn't actually get a full kit. I just got a couple pieces in to do a review on. You can read this and understand what it says and then go and use your e-cig. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, guys at Electrovapes, you guys have done a fantastic job on basically reinventing the wheel. This atomizer, awesome. This battery, fantastic. Guys, if you're looking for an Ego kit, check these guys out for sure. That's all I got for you today. So as always, let's keep on vaping.